Chapter 21 My future must be more than that. Immediately afterwards, Sheng searched all the familiar people around him. As a result, except for younger sister Lu Qinghe, whose historical evaluation reached 1 star, no one could reach 1 star, and most of them had half-star or even no-star evaluations. Sheng speculated that his 2-star evaluation might be due to the military exploits he gained after joining the military region, and his final sacrifice on the battlefield. After all, it can be regarded as contributing life to the continuation of human civilization. Not quite the same. Sheng said to himself, "It is said in the data that my score in the college entrance examination was 2.012 in blood value, 257 in combat power index, A in actual combat, etc., and I was admitted to Biowuda with the 23rd place in the city. If you leave the dream space aside, based on the speed at which I only practice body training, breathing techniques, and the blessing of existing resources, it is normal to achieve this result after more than 200 days. However, if you count my practice and gains in the dream space, then I should be far more than this achievement." 2 strong rays of light suddenly shot out from Sheng's eyes. More than 200 days, more than 200 days of dreaming, more than 200 days of harvest. I don't believe I'm making that much progress. How can I, Sheng, be only the 23rd in the city? My ranking should be included in the country, and my name should be known by more people. My future. Sheng clenched his fists tightly. It must, not only that. Since it is the future, it can be changed. My own future can be changed, and so can the future of the human race. If the human civilization in the future is going to perish, then I, Sheng, will be the one who changes history and turns the tide. Sheng looked at the words Tinder Resource Library flashing blue light on the optical brain screen, and spoke calmly and firmly. I am the seed of fire, and I will surely start a prairie fire. At this moment, the depression, bewilderment, and disappointment in Sheng's heart were swept away, and replaced by unprecedented firmness and confidence. His temperament has undergone a new transformation, and there seems to be a flame burning in his eyes. Martial arts, one should go forward bravely. If the front is doomed to be a desperate situation, then forcefully carve out a way out in the desperate situation. This is Sheng's belief. Xiaosheng, why didn't you change your school uniform? Don't you have to go to school today? Qing Yufan brought pots of breakfast to the table, and curiously asked Sheng, who was sitting at the table in casual attire and eating breakfast. Sheng picked up a meat bun casually, nodded and said, "Yes, the teacher said that you can choose to study at home in the future." "Is there such a thing?" Qing Yufan muttered suspiciously, but she was working several odd jobs at the same time, and Zhang Luo was rushing to work after breakfast, so she didn't have the energy to think too much, so she didn't ask any more questions. Lu Qinghe, who was next to her, originally wanted to say out of habit, "I haven't heard that the 3rd middle school has such a new regulation recently," but when she met Sheng's dark and deep eyes, she forcefully said this sentence, swallowed it back. "This guy." Lu Qinghe took a bite of the bun in his hand. Recently, Sheng, the big brother, has undergone more and more changes, and he is no longer mediocre and cowardly. Before, she just felt that Sheng had become a little deep and mysterious. But today, Sheng felt to her like a mountain, a piece of iron, a ball of fire. Sitting next to Sheng, she even felt oppressed that she couldn't breathe. This feeling is too bad. Sheng didn't pay attention to Qinghe's strangeness. After he had a quick breakfast, he went back to his room to practice body training. After finishing the 4th exercise, Sheng's cell phone rang, and it was an unfamiliar number. "Sheng, your scholarship has come down. Come to school this afternoon to get it." As expected, it was Zhong's call. "Understood, Teacher Zhong. By the way, why didn't you come to class today?" "It's not about your school time." "Will the school still have a meeting to discuss it?" "Unfortunately, I still remember not notifying your parents and asking for your private mobile phone number from your classmates." "Mr. Zhong, I don't have much time, so I can't waste any more." "Well?" Ignoring whether Zhong Jinghua on the other end of the phone could understand his words, Sheng hung up the phone. Since returning from the dream last night, Lu Xing's mentality has completely changed. Before that, Lu Xing was still cautiously hiding his own strength, not daring to reveal too much, not daring to let too many people know. He took many factors into consideration. It was difficult to explain to his family, rigidity is easy to break, Mushu Yulin Feng must be destroyed, and so on. But now, Lu Xing doesn't think about these anymore. He just wants to show his sharpness, he just wants to shock others. Only by showing more talents can we get more resources. He needs to rush to the top as quickly as possible, and then find a way to change the future. I can't wait for a moment. In addition, Lu Xing also wanted to use this to verify an idea in his heart. Lu Xing repeatedly practiced body exercises, combined with breathing techniques. Again and again. The purpose is to squeeze out your energy as quickly as possible, produce a sense of fatigue, and then enter the dreamland. When Lu Xing finished the 27th round of body exercises, he was finally so tired that he collapsed on the ground, unwilling to move even a little finger. Drowsiness hit, and he gradually fell asleep. Opening his eyes, he saw the light brain in front of him in the same place he left yesterday. Lu Xing skillfully turned on the optical brain, and then gave instructions. Call out all the martial arts-related practice methods, perceptions, and notes that I can inquire within my authority. Querying. Soon, a huge amount of information appeared in front of Lu Xing. It is densely packed, all of which are related to martial arts. Too much. With the accumulation of more than 10,000 years, the inspiration and wisdom of countless people, even if Lu Xing's authority is only level 2, the knowledge he can get is massive. Lu Xing thought for a while, then continued, screen the exercises that are most suitable for a first-level martial artist, and the most valuable content. Screening. The content in front of Lu Xing decreased rapidly, and finally, the information left in front of him. Only 3 remain. Chapter 22, the 11th level, the Supreme Skill. Stellar Body Forging Technique, Introduction. Cultivation Method Introduction, created by Wang He, the 11th level powerhouse of the Woman League, and included in the Fire Plan. Natural Breathing Method, Introduction, Introduction to the Exercises, created by Yang Yizhou, the 11th level powerhouse of the Martial Arts League, it was included in the Fire Plan. Crystal Ideas, Introduction, Cultivation Method Introduction, created by Duani Feng, the 11th level powerhouse of the Woman League, and included in the Tinder Plan. Among the 3 exercises, the first one is bigger than the first one, and the creators listed after the exercises made Lu Xing's eyes jump wildly. Level 11. Level 11. Level 11. Today's martial arts experts in the world are only at the 9th level, but before Lu Xing, there are 3 inheritances of the 11th level experts. Although they are just introductory chapters, their value is beyond words. Lu Xing noticed that the backs of these 3 exercises are all marked have been included in the Fire Plan. Recalling the prompt Tinder project has started when he opened the database yesterday, Lu Xing seemed to understand the meaning of Tinder project. Those strong men standing at the top in the Martial Arts League in the future should have anticipated the upcoming fate of the race. There is nothing they can do, so they can only preserve the essence of what they have learned all their lives. I look forward to the latecomers who can continue this fire for them. Lu Xing couldn't help sighing. It's a pity that they never thought that it was not the latecomers who picked up this kindling, but their ancestors. Lu Xing looked at the 3 exercises, thought for a while, and said, check out the follow-up exercises. Insufficient permissions, query failed, please increase access permissions. Really? The Tinder Resource Library is an out-and-out treasure house. But obviously opening this treasure house also requires conditions. The condition is sufficient access rights, and the access rights are closely related to the strength, achievements, reputation, and contributions of the visitors. Lu Xing did not continue to try, but began to concentrate on reading the 3 exercises in front of him. The martial arts crystallization of the 11th level top powerhouse, Lu Xing word for word, for fear of missing a single word. Soon, he read all 3 exercises. There was deep shock in Lu Xing's eyes. Although he has not yet started formal practice, he has already been shocked by the magnificent and unconstrained concept of the exercises. Stellar body refining technique sets the human body as a miniature universe, and when it is practiced to the depths, the density of the martial artist's body will reach an extremely terrifying level. The defense and strength are unimaginable, and the blood is as blazing as a star, like a galaxy. Majestic. The natural breathing method, combined with any martial arts practice, can make the progress of the practice method skyrocket. Moreover, the natural breathing method can allow the warrior to enter the state of harmony between man and nature, which has an incomparably huge effect on the improvement of the martial arts realm. Benefit. Crystal view thought, purifying the mind and strengthening the will, involves the most mysterious part of spiritual power and martial arts practice. These 3 exercises have different emphases, but they are selected by the optical brain, and are the most suitable for first-level warriors to lay the foundation of the supreme exercise. Introductory chapter. Lu Sheng couldn't wait to start trying. Although it is said that the results of practicing in the dream space cannot be brought into reality, but if you practice first in the dream space, you can get started faster in reality. The first thing Lu Sheng practiced was stellar body refining technique and natural breathing method. Even if it is an introductory article, the grade of these 2 exercises is too high. Without the blessing of memory proficiency, even Lu Sheng, a first-level warrior, tried for a long time before barely getting started. When Lu Sheng made the last movement of stellar body refining technique, his whole body trembled like an electric shock. That incomparably intense pain and numbness quickly swept through every corner of Lu Sheng's body like a raging tide. Even the muscles and meridians at the tip of the little finger are vibrated and exercised. This pain lasted for more than half an hour before it gradually weakened, followed by an unparalleled sense of comfort. Lu Sheng was immersed in the intense pleasure of practice, and his soul seemed to be going out of his body. If the effect of the body training technique he practiced before is 1, then the effect of stellar body training technique plus natural breathing method is 1,000, or even higher. But what he practiced the first time, which was promoted by the woman, was the 24 basic body training techniques, and the effect was completely negligible. It is no different from radio gymnastics. After one practice, Lu Sheng collapsed on the ground, unable to move at all. Taking advantage of this time, Lu Sheng began to try to practice crystal conception thoughts. The concept of crystal view ideas is wonderful and mysterious. Its first step is to allow the practitioner to visualize the human form in his mind, a human form completely carved out of crystal. This crystal human form must be full of impurities at the beginning, and then with the breathing, all the impurities are removed bit by bit, and finally it is spotless. Although Lu Sheng doesn't quite understand the ideas and effects imparted by crystal view thoughts, but he also knows that spiritual will is very important to martial arts practice. A warrior with a firm will and no distracting thoughts will far surpass a warrior with a slack will and a lot of desires, no matter in terms of combat effectiveness or speed of practice. Therefore, there have always been many ascetics in the martial arts world. However, although crystal conception thought is miraculous, it is also very difficult to practice. Even with the help of the optical brain, he built a 3-dimensional crystal human figure in front of Lu Sheng, but he couldn't build his own crystal human figure in his mind once. It can only come slowly in the future.